Hey, I'm Jaryd Krause, and do you want to buy a website business, but every time you go to the website brokers, you see that there's all these sites for sale, but none of them are under the $50,000 price range, and that's probably where you want to start, especially if you're a first-time website investor. I know for myself, when I first started, there's no chance that I wanted to spend over $50,000, right? I wanted to start off slow. I wanted to dip my toe in the water. I wanted to slowly progress up to buying bigger listings and bigger websites and learn on the smaller sites and make mistakes on the smaller sites. And that's what I suggest you do as well. But then when you do wait out to find these sites for sale, when they come up on the brokers that are under $50,000, normally you'll see them sell like that, right? They sell like hotcakes. So where do you go to buy these businesses that are under $50,000 that aren't selling like hotcakes? And you can start to get leverage on these and purchase these without being stressed and having to compete with too many people in the market. That's what I'm going to share with you in this video. But the best advice on how to go away and buy online businesses that have passed that 90% failure rate, that have a proven track record of making money every single month, go away and hit the subscribe button. Also hit the bell notification so you can get updated when I upload new videos about this every single week. Now, I've helped countless people buy website businesses and replace their income, and most people are starters when they come to me and say, hey Jaryd, I don't have a whole bunch of money and I want to spend under the $50,000 price range. I know it's very competitive out there. Where can I go to buy these website businesses? First off, I'm going to stick with the obvious ones. Yes, the website brokers, they do sell these businesses very, very fast, especially the ones that have bigger brands, like the bigger website brokers. They sell them very, very fast. But they also have a massive volume compared to some smaller brokers. So they do sell a lot of these as well, and which is why I suggest just getting on their email list and just checking them out, and also getting ready for every Monday or Thursday or Wednesday or whenever it is the day that they release their new listings, and getting ready to purchase those. And what I mean by getting ready is there's so much to unpack within that, like doing due diligence, experiencing due diligence, and knowing how to buy sites and stuff like that. If you want information about that, I have that all through my YouTube channel, and I teach people how to do that in my community, but we won't go there. What I want to talk about is a few of these brokers that you should go away and sign up to and get on their emailing list. The first one is Empire Flippers. Check them out. They sell a bunch of sites under the $50,000 price range. And I think I was just checking earlier, and I think there's like 7 or 8 under the $50,000 price range. And they also just listed a bunch of new ones, which I think will sell quite fast. But if you're experienced, like I said before, you can snag these deals. Now, the next place you can go is to feinternational.com. They also sell a bunch of sites under $50,000, and they're good sites as well. So get on their emailing list. Now, these last two brokers that I want to talk about, they normally sell sites under the $50,000 price range, which is why I want you to spend bulk of your time looking at these website brokers. Now, the first one is investors.club. They actually have a membership where you can sign up to get access to premium deals, or deals that, come out straight away. So freshly listed deals. I'm a member. I think it's well worth it. Check them out. You can also wait until they have been a certain amount of time until they do get released to the public, and check them out for free. And you have to sign up, but it's definitely worth doing so and getting on that email list. So check out investors.club. And then you also have Motion Invest. Now, I love the guys from Motion Invest because they do great work in many other things online, but especially with their brokerage service that they have called motioninvest.com. And you can go away and check out those businesses. And then normally they started off selling a bunch of the businesses that they had owned, built or bought and grew, and then started selling those. And then because of demand, they opened up and allowed other people to sell sites through their motioninvest.com site as well. And all the sites are under $50,000, usually under $70,000, sorry. So yeah, under that $50,000 price range, most of them are there. So I would definitely get on their emailing list, check them out. I'm always looking at them for sites to buy because they do have some good ones there. So they're the website brokers that I suggest checking out. Now, also, in our space, we have a lot of up and coming website brokers. People that are seeing this space is starting to blow up and get really big. So we have people that are starting their own brokerage services, and they start off selling sites normally, under that $50,000 price range. So there's people that come and go, and what I suggest you do is definitely do a Google search and try and just find a bunch of these littler brokers that do a better service and are trying to, you know, be more hands-on with you as a broker compared to these other big brokers, because they're up and coming, they're starting, and they want to do a great service and build their brand. So they are starting off, you know, under the $50,000 price range with the business that they're selling. So there's a bunch of them you can go away and check out. I suggest just Googling website brokers to find them. Now, whilst we're on website brokers, if there are any website brokers that you find and you go to that have listings under $50,000, please share that link to them in the comments so we can create a resource here for brokers and places to go to buy sites for under $50,000. So share that in the comments in this video. Now, the next few places I suggest you go to buy websites for under $50,000 is through Facebook groups. Now, Facebook groups have a lot of people wanting to buy sites and sell sites. And normally, people that have sites that are over $50,000 is they're going to website brokers because they can usually get a premium for the business that they're selling. And usually a bigger, you know, I like to say this is quite general, but you get what you pay for, and the bigger the business, normally the better it is. That's quite general and quite generic. Obviously, there's caveats and risks with every single business. But yeah, people that want to sell businesses for over $50,000 is they're normally going through brokers, and or they have their own network of people that are wanting to buy websites as well. So we'll get to networking very, very shortly. But first, let's talk about Facebook groups. Now, Facebook groups are a great way to buy websites. You can even post in Facebook groups letting people know what type of website you want to buy, and a bunch of people can reach out to you, and you know, and these can be smaller brokers, these can be affiliates of brokers, these can be people that have their own sites themselves and a portfolio of sites that want to sell them. And I've connected with a bunch of people through Facebook groups, and I've actually bought businesses through Facebook groups, and I found it very, very, very fun, and it's a great experience if you know how to do due diligence. Now, a few Facebook groups that you can go to. The first one is Buying Online Businesses group. That's my Facebook group. There are people that sell sites in that Facebook group, and there's a bunch of other things that people share in that group. Then we have flipping websites, we have niche website flippers, and then we have website flipping. So check out those ones, and also search, you know, there's different types of groups popping up here and there in Facebook. So you can also do a search in Facebook for these different types of Facebook groups. Now, a massive caveat on buying sites from Facebook groups, right? I suggest you do not buy sites from Facebook groups unless you've either bought a website business before, or you're very, very experienced doing due diligence, especially website due diligence. Now, why? Because it's a wild, wild west, right? There's people that are selling businesses that, you know, they may tell you one thing and you find another thing. And you need to really know how to find the information and really point out the risks that are involved with these different types of businesses. Because like on website brokers, they're not pre-vetted, right? These people don't have a brand to uphold. They can be behind the screen, they can be faceless, and they can sell you these sites and it could be riddled with problems. So that's why I suggest anybody that goes to these places is to certainly know how to do website due diligence and or have bought a website business before. So check out those Facebook groups. The next few places you can go to are marketplaces. Now, there's two marketplaces that I like to share. There's flippa.com, flippa.com, and that's where a lot of people are selling sites for under $50,000. Actually, the lion's share of sites for sale on Flippa are under $50,000. We do have people that are selling sites for $100,000 and more, but the lion's share is $50,000 and under. And again, like I said with the Facebook groups, is because these businesses aren't pre-vetted, people can just list their sites for sale, anybody, then you need to ensure you know how to do website due diligence and or have bought a website business before. And that's the same goes for the next marketplace I want to share, which is shopifyexchange.com, right? So Shopify Exchange is a sort of service that Shopify has where people can list their Shopify stores for sale. And I've had clients that have bought businesses from Shopify Exchange and from Flippa, and it's been great for them. Why? Because they know how to do their website due diligence. So massive caveat again, this is the wild, wild west. People can sell their sites. They're listing these sites not pre-vetted. They don't have a brand behind them that they need to uphold like website brokers do. So ensure you know how to do your website due diligence before you go away and start looking at and trying to purchase these websites. There's lots of stories riddled all over the internet where people have had a hard time and have been taken advantage of. Mainly because they didn't know what they're doing. They're blaming other people, but it's because they didn't have the experience in due diligence and they didn't know what they were looking at. They didn't know what they were buying. So don't be that person. Get experience first. Lastly, I want to talk about what I mentioned before, which is networking. If you're looking to get into this space, I suggest getting into this space for the long term and start building relationships with people in the space. So what I'm talking about is building relationships with brokers. The better your relationship can become with a broker, the more inclined they're wanting to help you to buy a site for under $50,000. Also in the Facebook group, start networking with people, start networking with sellers. For example, I've bought sites from people that I want to buy more sites from them because they have a portfolio of sites. I've bought one, and through that relationship, I've nursed that relationship and I want to purchase more sites from them. So that, takes a lot of work off your plate having to go away and find other websites for sale when you could go to somebody that you've already got a great relationship with. So what I suggest is building your network, building your connections in this space. It's very, very beneficial. In fact, what I like to say is the relationships that you build are far more value than the transaction that comes from that relationship that you've just built. For example, sometimes when you buy a website business from somebody, that business, you might have it for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, or whatever, right? But a business can come and go. The relationship should stay, and you can get more value from that relationship in 10, 15, 20 years down the track than the single transaction or the business you bought alone. So that's why I suggest if you're getting to this space, come into the space and be in here for the long term, okay? Have the oversight to be here for the long term, for the macro trend, and build great relationships in this space. And that's going to alleviate so much pressure and stress off you in trying to find sites for under $50,000. So guys, I hope you got a bunch of value from this video. There's so many places you can go to buy these websites for under $50,000. Again, make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you know how to do your due diligence. If you have questions around that, please ask any questions you have in the comments. And if you like this video, please just give it a thumbs up. Speak to you on the next one, guys. Bye.